I have a section in the book about the unfortunate decline of unions and worker power and how that has led to wage stagnation, increased inequality, and a horrible political system where the Koch brothers and billionaires and corporate donors dominate. And that's depressing and needs to be fixed. And then I have several chapters laying out various models about how to rebuild worker power. The teacher strikes did a lot to show that workers could fight again. The Fight for 15 has in many ways been very successful. Then I also devote a chapter to what is, to my mind, one of the best, most impressive, most forward-looking, most aggressive unions in the United States. That's the Culinary Union in Las Vegas. They represent dishwashers and hotel housekeepers. And they're 60–70% immigrant workers. And while much of the labor movement has been shrinking in size, the Culinary Union has grown from 18,000 workers in the 1980s. It's more than tripled to 60,000 workers now. And it represents workers in the big hotel casinos. And nationwide, hotel housekeepers average $11 an hour. They often work just $25 a week, make less than $400 a week, make less than $20,000 a year. In Las Vegas, the hotel housekeepers earn, on average, $19.50 an hour. They're guaranteed 40-hour weeks. They make almost $800 a week, $40,000 a year. I profile a hotel housekeeper, wonderful woman, Frances Garcia, an immigrant from Honduras. She alone is able, on her salary from the Culinary as a housekeeper, is able to raise 3 kids. She has a very nice apartment, big screen TV. Her kids are going to college. I mean, it shows that where there's a strong, enlightened union that involves the people, that is willing to engage in strikes, to make sure the employers pay their fair share, that these jobs that are often low wage elsewhere can be really good middle class jobs with lots of respect. Now, on politics. So remember, 2016, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania all flipped from blue to red, those supposedly blue, blue wall states. Well, in Nevada, thanks largely to this amazing union, which really knows how to mobilize its members, Nevada has flipped from red to blue. And in the 2018 election, Nevada was the only state where an incumbent Republican senator lost his seat. So, this is a union that, pardon my French, is really kicking ass. It's really doing a very impressive job. And I devote a chapter to it because they're doing so many things that other unions, that other worker advocates should be doing. They're involving the members. They're mobilizing the members. They're willing to confront the employer. They're organizing. They do amazing organizing several thousand workers a year. And in Nevada, Clinton beat Trump. Yeah. And the crazy thing is Nevada's a right-to-work state. So, often unions are very reluctant to organize in right-to-work states because that means workers can't be required to pay union dues. So the Culinary does such an amazing job helping its workers that over 95% of the people pay union dues, which is much higher than in most unions in right-to-work states. You've referenced the teacher strikes, and we cannot say enough about the significance of these in the last year, and then also the upcoming Chicago teacher strike. If you can refer to what's happening here. This Chicago appears to be heading for a strike as the teachers union in the country's 3rd largest district continue to negotiate after rejecting the district's latest offer. Teachers have been pushing for better pay, smaller class sizes, among other demands. In addition to teachers, workers in SEIU Local 73 say thousands of special ed, classroom assistants, bus aides, security officers, custodians could strike as early as October 17th. If the newly elected Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot continues in Rahm Emanuel's pro-austerity path. The last Chicago teacher strike 7 years ago. So the Chicago Teachers Union has also been one of the leading lights in labor. And this strike in 2012 against Rahm Emanuel and his austerity policies was really a signal event in modern labor history. And it kind of encouraged years later the strikes in West Virginia, Oklahoma, Arizona that I write about in the book. And I have an op-ed in today's New York Times saying the teacher strikes and their success in ways embolden the GM workers. They feel that labor has wind on their back. At their backs, they saw that the teachers' strikes had huge public support because the public's concerned about wage stagnation, income inequality. So I think the GM workers are tapping into that sentiment. Now in Chicago still, this very militant union, the Chicago Teachers Union, they're unhappy with continued austerity policies. I mean, I wouldn't love to be mayor of Chicago right now because it's a city with a big budget squeeze, and they're saying to the union, sorry, we can't spend as much as you like. And the union's saying there are all these gazillionaires in Chicago. You could certainly tax them more to help improve their schools. And it's another unhappy tug of war. Let's hope they reach a settlement without a strike. One of the really interesting developments now in labor is I think a lot of unions realized, hey, we're being perceived too often as narrow self-interest, just fighting for ourselves. And there's really this fast-growing movement called bargaining for the common good. And again, that was led by the Chicago Teachers Union, and then West Virginia, Oklahoma, Arizona teachers, and Los Angeles teachers, that we're not fighting. Yeah, we've had a wage freeze for 2 years or 4 years, and yes, we want a raise, but we're not just fighting for that. In West Virginia, Arizona, Oklahoma, they saw that the Republican government was cutting taxes to the rich, cutting taxes on fracking, cutting taxes for corporations, while the education budgets were being starved, and there were pay freezes for teachers and not enough money for textbooks, and class sizes were getting larger. And they said, we're going on strike not just for us, but to help the community. And the strike this fall by the hotel workers at Marriott, they adopted a slogan that they thought would resonate with the public, and it really did. It said, one job should be enough. I mean, it was crazy that all these workers were juggling 2 and 3 jobs. They were getting small raises while, rents in San Francisco and Boston were soaring. So unions are really trying, unions see that they're not as strong as they once were, and I explain this in detail. So they realize we have to reach out to community partners and and environmental partners and immigrant groups, and all together we could achieve a lot more than we can alone.